Day 1. Victoria to Lumby. This is where my journey begins. I left Victoria on the ferry to Tsawwassen, from which I would drive to my first destination in Lumby. I would pass through cities that I have not been through in many years, on my way to explore a country that I have lived in almost my entire life. The west coast to the east coast, from small abandoned villages to thriving metropolitan cities, I was going to see it all. This was a turning point in my life. I would embark in a once-in-a-lifetime adventure across Canada. I remember the excitement I felt as I left Victoria, looking over a lovely harbour on a beautiful and warm sunny day. As with Vancouver Island, there was a gentle breeze in the air. I was free. I took highway number 17 to highway number 10, and from there to Trans-Canada Highway number 1, heading towards my first stop, Hope. I stopped for a quick washroom break, fueled up, and took a quick look at the surroundings. This wildfire season was one of the worst on record so far, and it was in the middle of July. Strangely, the surrounding area of Hope had clear skies. That was about to change in a few hours. I left Hope, taking highway number 5 to Merritt, where I then took highway number 97C, heading to Kelowna. The drive had been quite scenic so far. However, when I reached elevation and was nearing Kelowna, I then started to see the change in the weather. I was able to taste the carbon in the air due to the wildfires, and the sky turned orange. I drove into Kelowna, passing through downtown. I relived memories that I had of this lovely Okanagan city, how it had changed so much over the years. I remember when it was just starting to grow, but now it has become saturated and will likely be overgrown like Vancouver in a few years. I drove north through Lake Country, then headed east, where I made my second stop of the day. I fueled up just outside of Coldstream and picked up 2 Starbucks Doubleshot energy drinks, 1 mocha, 1 vanilla. I thought it was a good idea at the time, since I had been driving for a while. Little did I know that these drinks would affect me in the hours to come. I arrived in Lumby, where I booked a camping spot at the Lumby Lions Campground. The campground was almost full, mainly with what appeared to be longer-term campers with their fifth-wheel trailers. I set up my tent for the first time. I had set it up previously at home, but never used it in a real-world setting. I quickly realized that I had left the tent pad back home. Luckily, I had a spare blanket, roughly the size of the tent footprint that I used as a tent pad on the hard-packed dirt. I also set up my inflatable sleeping pad. It was still early in the evening, and the sun wouldn't set for a while, so I decided to take a walk around town and see how things were. Unfortunately, the 2 Starbucks Doubleshot energy drinks I had consumed earlier turned my stomach upside down, inside out, and all sorts of wrong. I had been assigned a camping spot near the back of the campground, just by a small creek, but far from the washrooms and showers. I had gone back and forth from my tent to the washrooms several times, spending enormous amounts of energy and toilet paper to flush the filth out of my body and to cleanse myself after. Anyone who had been in the washroom and shower facility after me would come to despise me. After exorcising that evil that Starbucks attempted to infuse into my body, I was ready to explore the town. Lumby is a quaint little town just east of Vernon, like many small towns in British Columbia. It has a feel of being unmolested by commercial development, but heavily reliant on outside investment. The town felt strangely quiet, with almost no vehicle traffic in the core area, and visibly no other pedestrians other than myself to wander the streets. Pretty murals were painted on some of the buildings, depicting the history of Lumby. Apparently, Lumby does get quite busy with numerous outdoor festivals every year. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, everything has been cancelled. There was only one reason why I stopped at Lumby. This trip was also a means for me to push myself outside of my comfort zone, to tick off a few experiences from my bucket list, and to add growth to my already considerable testicular fortitude. I returned to the campsite, rested in my tent, gazing up into the sky. Looking at the stars, I thought of how free I was and what incredible memories I will have. Tomorrow will bring a new memory that I will take with me for the rest of my life. Subscribe to the Travel Experience channel. Tap the bell and join the conversation in the comments section below.